Well, hey, thanks for stopping by. I'm going to show a key today that we did not time, and I think it's important to show the keys you didn't time but you learned a lot from, and it was a whole different echelon of play here. So this is a fort bolstering 20 hulls. If you didn't know, by the way, you can abomination limb and get your bone shield stacks before the key starts. It's pretty big. So fort bolster on this key is pretty hard. This key has a lot of avoidable damage that you have to sidestep from these champions and stuff like this. So what we're doing here is we're actually just trying to stun that Stormcaller and then just pull everything else to go with it.
Bloodlust.
Alright, so then we're pulling everything here. We gotta watch out for frontals, so ideally I would want to commit to this spot until the Drake is dead and focus the Drake down. But I am starting to take some pretty big damage here. And now I need to start thinking about, okay, how do I kite this stuff? And also not frontal the team, because I will be frontaling the team. So that's purgatory already. And this is happening because of the champions. They're doing power attack. Power attack. It is sidesteppable. It does massive damage, especially when they get bolstered. So you do have to be doing that. But I need to be careful here not to be hitting the team. So right now, look, I'm moving, and I'm going right to my healer. See where my healer is? I'm moving right into him. So this is okay. No, I can't move back. I can't do that. So now I'm putting I just put a fire breath on the team. It killed me and the healer. Fire breath, lightning breath. So on these bigger keys, when things are taking longer to die because of fort bolster, you need to be thinking about, so in this key, no matter what, you're going to have to kite. That's the name of this key on a fortified weak, on a high key, on top of that bolster. So you need to be thinking about your path. What is your kite path? So unfortunately we still have the Thundercaller and the Dragon are both still up. So you would want everybody to focus that Drake down, because as soon as the Drake is dead, yes, it's going to bolster everything else. You want the Drake and the Thundercaller to die first. I guess the Drake could be less of an issue as long as you just understand he is going to lightning breath. It's a frontal, and you just got to keep it away from your team. So you could try and have your team face somewhere in the middle, and then you kite a circle around the outside of them so they never get hit. I could have AMS'd that one. Okay, yeah, so we don't time this key. We're a couple minutes off. But I don't know. I think there's a lot of value in showing the keys that we don't time and lessons we learned from the wipes, the hardships. So Horn of Valor, we're looking to see where the Drake is. So he's middle. So we're just calling that out. And then he's going into my spot. We just move, and then we just move him right back in. Now, everybody likes to tank this in a different spot. I usually prefer right here near this pillar, but you can do whatever. Again, Horn of Valor. Drake is in the middle again. So when the Horn of Valor comes, you're just looking. There's not much to say about this fight. not much to say here. So, to time the bigger keys, you normally have to pull somewhat big. And you have to do that knowing in your capabilities to sidestep the really hard stuff. So this dungeon gets massively easier if you can sidestep the mortal hues and the power attacks. A lot of abilities in this dungeon you can just not take by moving. So if you're Blood Decay, Death and Decay slow is very valuable in this dungeon, and so is the Icy Chains talent that does 2 Icy Chains for the cost of 1. And they are specifically very valuable on the big bear pull that I do after Fenrir. You know what? Let me get my little pen thing out. We can kind of break down some of these frontals if you don't know about it. This pen, epic pen thing. Where did it put it? Okay, it's over there. All right. So I got the Mystic. I'm going to grab this stuff and just bring it up. So power attacks, champions, shield maidens, all this is like stuff that can hurt us. So power attacks are for real. So if we can have everybody... That's not what I want. What are my buttons again for this? I think it's Control Sit. Yeah. If we can have the team, you can maybe have your team stand here. Here, let me pause it. You can maybe have your... Sorry, I'm going to pause it here. You can maybe have your team stand here, and you've got all the mobs, right? So you can do like just a... You know what I mean? You can do something like this. You know, I don't know. As you're doing it, you'll figure out the best like way for you and the team. But that is an option. When we're talking about some of these abilities here, I'll pause for the... You see, sorry, one more pause. This power attack, it's on this champion, and it's a frontal attack. So all you have to do is just, you know, back out of it, and you won't get hit at all. It's massive chunk damage. So let's clear there. Okay. And so when I'm watching this fight, I'm panicking a little bit because this is like a new point of scary for me. I'm not used to not being held this. So look, one power attack hit did that to me. Look, one power attack did that to me. Pop Purgatory because I'm out of options because I wasn't ready for that big spike damage. And all it takes is just not be in there. So I'm doing little mini circles here because I'm trying to keep them in the earthquakes for our shaman, which is not easy to do because I have to keep running. But if I had a organized... See, there's a mortal hue from the shield maiden. If I had an organized circle I was doing, he'd be able to predict and put one ahead of me. So again, pulling kind of big here. I'm going to grab that and at the same time. It's risky because it's next to the sentinel. So I'm trying to just grab it and run, and then line of sight. I'm trying to bring it out here. So Rune of Healing we don't really care that much about because we can kind of just keep moving. The team is worried about the Thundercallers for sure. We are worried about the champions and the shield maiden. Breach armor will make us take more damage, and power attack will chunk. So these champions that are doing these power attacks and shield maidens, you can stun them, you can grip interrupt this, you can sleep this, you can asphyxiate it. I mean, you can do a lot of things to stop these. I just need to keep moving. I can't just stop moving. Power attacks coming in. I missed those ones. Bolster's coming in, so now these are going to really hurt if I mess up. It's going to be a lot. Power attack, Immortal Hues coming in. Breach armor. Breach armor just chunked. That was a breach armor hit and then a melee. Probably didn't need a battle res me there. That was the end of the pull. So we did that big pull, and so now I'm going to take the Shield Maiden with me up top. Again, we got to be kicking etches. We got to be doing our normal kicks, but also I got to watch out for power attacks. I got to watch out for Mortal Hues.
Counter.
You know, this dungeon has a lot of really big pulls, so it's very tough on a Fort Bolster storming week. See Mortal Hues coming in.
Counter.
I need to get moving. But I'm stuck in this cluster because the Sentinel was patrolling by at the time. Power attack. I think I actually gripped him to stop it.
The elements answer to me.
Okay.
Do great deeds of courage and valor.
So again, this pull is completely fine. You have to get a range kick on that guy up top. But if you do this,
And her name shall echo in these
Anti-magic shell.
if you do that, you do have to do your circles. You got to get some aggro. And this is where having... God, I already popped Berg. This is where having a good trinket that just does big burst damage comes into play. And then you can just start running. Mortal Hues coming in. Breach armor's coming in. I'm just taking all of that.
their kind has no
And it's because I'm worried about this Shield Maiden that I don't have aggro on. See, this dungeon is very unforgiving if you stand in anything.
Counter.
So if I can just keep doing a big circle. If I can just do a big circle around everybody, we'll be looking good. And then all they have to do is just stand in the middle. And I could just keep going around and around. Oh, I stood too long. I was there too long. I don't know why I have that audio glitch. So that's unfortunate. You know, you could tell this. Our damage numbers are pretty good, but it's very hard to do. You know, it's a whole different league of damage profile that I was not expecting. And it's specifically because it's Fort Bolster. Keys I did after this one went much better. But this was the wake-up call / learning curve that as a tank, this key is kind of like, it reminds me a lot of Halls of this is Halls, right? It's Halls of Valor, but it reminds me of what was the dungeon we just got done doing in Shadowlands? It was Halls of
Anti-magic shell.
well, anyways, it was the one that has like the big golem, blood golem boss in the middle, and the gargoyles and stuff. Anyways, it reminds me a lot of that because you have much success in this dungeon if the tank can properly grab big pulls, sidestep, and stay alive. So I decided to pull all this together after that. So Mortal Hues coming in. You know, they're getting hit by this stuff. I need to like move as a unit here. So, it would be actually beneficial to bring them back downstairs even, and then just do a circle, or just whatever works. You know, this isn't too bad if everybody stands on the platform. If everybody stood up on the platform that were ranged, it might not be too bad what I'm doing here. But as you can see, my gears are turning. I've been learning from these mistakes I've already been making, where I'm trying to do somewhat of a circle. The problem here is like, if you're not on that tippity top slope, you're gonna get LOS'd, right? So this isn't so great. You know, you can see our shaman is trying to like get ahead of this and like predict it. See, and I noticed that they were getting LOS, so I was trying to like fight it down here now, all of it, so they wouldn't have to be moved around that pillar. The specific dungeon, having to kite as much as I do, it's very hard to play Elemental Shaman. I assume it was frustrating with the earthquakes. So we're going to play both these together. If you've never done that, I kind of mess it up a little bit. So this guy is going to do his bubble. And right when the cast goes off, you need to grab the other guy. I need to grab him now. 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 So I was about 4 seconds too late. So we're going to get a slight overlap here. For fortified bolster, they do not bolster each other. They scale off of fortified, but they do not bolster each other.
Counter. Divine. Anti-magic shell.
So if you do this, it's just
Counter.
it's free cleave. It's like, why not do them both at the same time if you can get it correct?
Counter.
Ooh, I hit that one.
Counter.
So we're definitely pretty far behind on time, but you know, again, like I said, this is part of the learning.
The elements answer to me! The light shines eternal in you, Herja.
Okay, so we're gonna try and do a strat here where we take him right side twice. And the idea is the stuff that's scary on right side, you can mostly just dodge. So if you let him empower it twice, that's ultimately less times you're going to have to deal with the left side AoE bubble.
I will not fail you, Aegir! You will pollute these halls no more!
Anti-magic shell. Bloodlust.
I was a little slow on the EMS for that one. So now I have Sanctify, but this is really like the most scary part of it. So our healer asked if we can just do this twice. I was like, yeah, I mean, whatever. So these targeted nukes are going to do more. So Expel Light is starting to hurt quite a bit. Now we got another Sanctify. So weird seeing Archie as a freaking goblin. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is just let this shield ability punch me across the map.
Anti-magic shell.
Let it bounce me, and we'll just fight it here. so this one we're gonna AMZ
Anti-magic
this.
zone.
We actually did double AMZs all the way across the sky. Really confident AMZs do not stack, so it was just a miscalculation. If you don't have AMS up for that shield smack, you just need to bank a death strike, and as it hits you, just death strike immediately before you get bounced away. But you should definitely have something up for it.
Anti-magic shell.
The magic shell's really good there. Okay. Alright, we have one more pole in this hallway. So yeah, from like all the keys I've done so far, and I've done a good amount of 20s now, this is the one that like was the most challenging for me as a tank, just to like make sure I was living. Alright, I do like to grip that guy in too. It's just part of the route I have for this.
Countered.
Again, gotta watch out for power attacks. And now there's a big one here, which is the marksman. You see him doing snapshots over there?
Countered.
See if I can't. He's going to do one which is penetrating shot, which we want to stop.
Countered.
Right there, this one right here. You want to grip it or something. Don't let that one go off. So again, now I need to just be watching the champion for power attacks. I don't want to take those if I can help it.
Blind.
Especially if he's bolstered. Alright. So I accidentally grab a stag here. I did not mean to. My death and decay hit the stag before it ran away. It does give count, but it's like negligible, and it was an accident.
The elements answer to me.
Okay. So now we have to play the stag because the stag will bolster the Drake. Yeah, so if you didn't know, I usually am always on Linux. I play WoW, I record WoW, and do my editing on Linux.
Anti-magic shell.
But for the last month and a half or so, I've actually been exclusively on Windows, and I never had that audio glitch until I was on Windows. Don't know what happened. So we don't need. I was just trying to hover over it to see what the count was. I will take these bowls at the very end, but right now I don't need them. Okay, now onto the mini Fenrir part. This boss got recently pretty nerfed, so you know, we've all done this fight quite a bit, so I don't know how much I need to talk about. As a tank, I'm thinking I want to conserve as many amount of CDs as possible for the next Wolves pull. Okay. Pretty sure he phases at 60. So again, I was just trying my best to hold what I can. Alright. So in my route, I need 5 wolves. It doesn't matter how you get the 5 wolves. You just need 5 of them. Or wargs. So I'm going to grab these ones here. I'm just going to grab them. And I'm going to do it all together. So these got nerfed too. The upfront tank damage they used to take is gone. Like, it's not gone, but significantly reduced. Now the danger is the charge on the team. So a lot of stuns, a lot of lockdowns is good here. It was always good here, but it's even better now. Just because of all the random damage the team will be taking. You can see they were eating our healers' booty like groceries right there. But they're significantly less scary to the tank. Okay, so we are leaving the wolves up to the left. So that just we just need to be mindful of that when we fight this. I was waiting for my healer's mana, by the way. For that. So you can run into that cave above me when you get fixated. To like max range it. Otherwise, we cleared the path up to the right of us, right? So just, you gotta know that's like where you have. Yo, how is he so fast right there? What the heck was that? Did he have a rocket boost? Yeah, so our rogue, the leap was going to him first, so he just stepped out and then did a vanish. So we just didn't take a leap that turn. Sent a blood. So now he can run. He can either run or he can do his little evasion stuff or whatever he does. Okay, packmate's coming in. Here's the leap. So just make sure when this leap is going on, you guys are just very careful not to pull any extra wolves, right? If you're doing the same kind of rat I am. See here, this is where you can go into this cavern. This cave, if you wanted to make sure you don't pull any extra count. Okay. So on to the kind of, again, these are kind of bigger, more technical pulls coming up. And of course, just go over the bridge. Don't do this jump. Just go over the bridge next time. Just don't do this. Next time, just go over the bridge. And just make sure you don't pull the stuff on the right. And so in this route I'm doing, I am grabbing all these bears. These bears do they do crunch armor, and they do rending claws. So they do 3 things: crunch armor, rending claws, and they do like a little charge on you. There is a sweet spot you want to be at where you can sidestep all of their abilities. You have to slow them down, and they won't be able to hit you with rending claws or crunch armor, but they'll still hit you with the charge. So the trees, man, it's horrible. So what you gotta do is you gotta stay far enough away from them to where they don't charge, or they don't hit you with abilities, but close enough to them to where they don't charge you. And there is like a little sweet spot. You just gotta ride that lightning. Otherwise, you kind of just gotta keep moving. You have a huge speed boost from killing both bosses. So you use this whole time just to kite. Like I should have done this earlier. It's just icy chains them all. Just get them icy chained. The closer you can keep them like together and grouped up, the better, like, you know, damage you'll see from your team. You know, a big part of our job as a tank is to set our DPS up for like big damage. All right, so here we're getting these bolts. We have to get 4 bolts here. So I'll get those. Now there's one big ability, piercing horns. It just purged me, right? So stay out of piercing horns. That's the only thing. See piercing horns? You can sidestep it. That's it. Piercing horn starts, you sidestep. You can let them get to you to bait the piercing horns because they stand still when they do it. And that's it. Like, it's a very relaxed pull. If you can just understand piercing horns will kill you, so you just don't get hit by it. And they enrage. But it doesn't matter if they enrage because they don't really even basic attack you. All they mostly do is piercing horns. Like, of course they basic attack you, but it's like negligible. So why I'm pulling this? What this allows you to do is just skip all sentinels. So I don't have to pull the patrolling one, and I don't have to pull the two at the door. We can just invis pot or shroud straight past them. And so like, yeah, we have 15 deaths. We've made a lot of mistakes, especially in the early of the key. But we did what we could to learn from it. And, you know, we're not going to time this. 6 minutes at this point is not timeable. But we're not crazy far off. If we didn't have those mistakes, especially in the beginning of the key, we would have timed this no problem. And those mistakes are from me dying, from me turning frontals into the team. Without those, the key is timed. So, I mean, these are just... This is part of the importance of being a tank. We do it because we like to be in charge of the route. We like to take the damage and, like, you know, have some agency in how we play. So here we're doing the little beer tech. We grab him, and then we run him through the next guy while he's enraged from the beer.
Countered.
So then he like starts fighting, and then it kind of glitches him, and we can talk to him, get him in on it. Okay, but his aggro is not set there, so you have to be ready to taunt it. So the beer already ran off with this guy, so unfortunately on my part, it's too late for that. So I can't have 3 at the same time. But when one dies, I can talk to him and keep it going. It's like a chain. In order to get this to work, you have to kind of throw multiple beers and then run it through them quickly.
Counter.
But you can just always make sure you're fighting 2 at a time. So I can talk to that one now. So when one dies, I can talk to another one. So we always get at least a 2-person cleave going on. Again, you know, they are getting bolstered when one dies, so just be careful of that.
Counter.
We are saving the last dude, because he's the one that calls in like his buddies. So it's just, you want to do him last, so that's just less time you have to manage those ads. Let's see, there he goes, calling ancestors.
Counter.
We are taking some spike damage I wasn't quite ready for. The best way to combat that is just to like focus up, do your rotation. You know, we took a yell there for no real reason.
Counter.
So we're just worried about the ancestors. Like, I'm watching that, and I'm not really, like, expecting the spike damage I'm taking.
Counter.
See, I'm actually bringing this guy a little close to that ancestor, right? So now it's like I start moving him away.
Countered.
Keep in mind, every icy chains you put out, it significantly slows them, but it does cost a rune each time. So just be ready for that. So I popped a power rune weapon just to make sure I was generating runes from it. Well, we got some, they lowered the RP for this too, which was kind of nice. But yeah, I know I haven't put out any videos lately. I've had some stuff in the works. I have some keys I'm still trying to publish to YouTube. And then I also have been playing the new Dead Space, and I've been recording that. So I know in this channel, all I do is put out World of Warcraft content. But I don't know. I guess I want to ask your guys' opinion. Do I make a second channel when I play other video games? Or do I just post them here anyways? Because I'm not really a big YouTuber. I think I can be flexible that way. I just don't want to lose a lot of subscribers because I put, you know, my Dead Space playthrough on YouTube.
Anti-magic shell.
And again, it's the similar content, like the similar style where I'm just playing the game and talking or reacting as it's happening. So, I would like to hear you guys' opinion on that. Maybe I'll even make a poll about it, just to see what you guys think. Of course, there's still going to be plenty of WoW videos. Mostly WoW videos, but I don't only play WoW, so sometimes my content or like gameplay is lacking from that. And, you know, I'm never going to compete with like the really big popular, you know, tank class, like the tanks or the Blood DKs that are like thousands of views and stuff like that. It's just because I don't play this game full time. You know, I have a family and everything too, so. And I play other games. Some with my wife. We've actually been playing a lot of Predecessor together. And I've been playing a lot of The Division 2. It recently came out on Steam, so I've been playing through that as well, trying to level up. Anyways. I did not talk about this boss because I really don't think there's anything to talk about. Ragnarok happens, you do your shield, he picks it up, he does his thing, you stand behind it. You be careful with the puddles, that's really it. I could have positioned him farther away so we weren't in this like green puddle stuff. So yeah, we're already a minute 38 over.
Most impressive. I never thought I would meet anyone who could match the Valor's strength. And yet here you stand. There is one final trial that awaits. Me. Should you triumph, I will carve your names in these sacred halls myself and grant you a reward worthy of your valor. Have you brought valor to these halls? Tell me of your
So our strategy we are doing here is we need to put him up against this left wall to try and bait out these spears to not be near the runes. So if you can bait his spears towards the side of the room here, you can just be in a better position after this.
Countered.
So the point is to bring him to the left side of the room, to bait the spears to be all on that side of the room, so when he shatters the spears, there's less balls coming from multiple areas. They all come from the same, if that makes sense.
Bloodlust.
So we do the side, and then bring him towards the middle when it's time for the rune thing. Damage is not kicking up right now.
Fight for me, Valor! Fight for glory! Yield now,
Countered.
or I will call upon my true power.
Of course, you gotta kick surges. So these spears are not great. Like, I didn't do a good job with positioning on this phase. So now we have all these balls here.
The elements answer to me!
So I am trying to bring him to the side here, just to try and bait these spears away.
Untimed magic shell.
See, that's better. Look how they're all like neatly put up together. So once he does this phase, and then he's gonna do Shatter Spear after this, they'll all come from that one side.
Blind. Countered. Countered.
That part's unfortunate. And now he's gonna shatter them. They're mostly gonna come from that side. I was lucky having the rune placement there. Nihilus is dead again. Sweet. Oh, Nihilus and bolts. Remember, it costs 25 runic power to res somebody, so make sure you have that in the bank.
Untimed magic shell.
You just gotta give him to 80%. And there it is. We were actually like 5 minutes off, actually. It actually was a good amount. Oh. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching, and yeah, I'll be sure to put out more content, and let me know what you guys think about the let me know what you think about putting other content here besides just WoW. Alright, I look forward to doing more keys and publishing to YouTube, and see you guys later. Thank you.